1.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of NomadLand. The first episode, we're recording in a new studio.
Don't look at the camera.
Hammers going on on the table and everything. We have a very special guest. I'm really interested in the subject that we have going on. We got Yaya.
Yeah, hello, welcome back to the show. Now, before we start off the show, though, let's apologize for being away for so long. It's been about, 4 months?
Yeah, 3-4 months.
It's about 3-4 months. We've been away, but we're back. Now, before anything, I just want to thank Cash for helping us produce about 9 or 10 episodes up to this point. He was definitely a comrade, a brother. We went to Vietnam together and came back. He helped us start off the show, but we had to part ways. But now we're with a new producer, Navid. He's going to play a big role in the show. He is part of the show. He's going to be our producer and a big brother to all of us. So I'm very excited about that. Then we also got JB, which I don't know how often we're going to see him. You're Filipino? He's a Filipino brother.
We got him in the studio today, though. We got Navid and JB in the studio.
And Manny
today.
Pacquiao. And
Yes.
and that's what's going on right now as far as the show. But without any further,
Let's get to the guest.
let's get to the main topic. Today we have Bryce Draper. He has worked with many plant medicines. Now he's been working with the Kambo frog medicine for the past six years. 6 years.
Nice.
He's an activist, works with many tribes, especially tribes that are getting their lands taken away. So we're going to talk about that, brush on that subject, something that's very important to talk about. And he's also the founder and CEO of Kambo Healing Me. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Right on. Yeah, really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting me to speak. And
Thank you for coming over. I've had a Kambo session with you. Maybe we'll talk about that later on. But for people that don't know what Kambo is, how would you explain and describe that medicine to them?
It's a kind of it can be a long conversation or a short conversation, but
when it gets too long, I'll stop you.
when it's
So don't worry, you can keep going.
yeah, it's an amazing.
Just don't get upset if I stop, though. All right.
It's a really beautiful medicine. It comes from the border of Peru and Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the indigenous tribes in that area work with it. It comes from the excretion of the giant waxy monkey tree frog, the Philmedusa bicolor, and the secretion contains about 200 peptides that we know of, 20 that we know of that are bioactive. And when the medicine...
Let's go through that. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, we will, for sure. It's very important, actually. But when the medicine's applied to the person, all these peptides shoot through the system and basically wake up the entire body and allow the body to jump into self-healing. Meanwhile, it dumps the lymphatic system. And so that's the gist of the physical aspect. A full body detox, more or less. I mean, I don't want to say that, but it's a very deep detox. Meanwhile, rebooting the body, as well as there's a big spiritual, emotional, energetic component as well, which is a little bit longer of a discussion. But
So it does so much.
Yeah,
I mean, people with a bunch of different types of stuff come to you.
all over the place. Yeah,
All the way from HIV to just people that are just trying to ascend and...
Yeah, I would say the majority, it's like 50-50, but a lot of people come that have never had any experience with any type of medicines from the jungle or alternative medicines or whatever, and they've had a lot of health issues. They've been working with doctors and pharmaceuticals and different things for years and years and years, and then they're like, okay, I'll go try this frog poison that makes me throw up. And so a lot of them are like, and they're kind of like, they'll just try anything at that point. Also, other people are very informed of how amazing this medicine is, and they come. And then there are others that are coming for a spiritual aspect, and then they're like, holy cap. And then I also stopped smoking.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that. So
You yourself, I mean, tell us a little about your background and how you got into it in the beginning.
Oh, man. Well, my journey started with ayahuasca, actually. And then after I came back from Peru the first time, I was introduced to an ayahuasca ceremony in the States, and I went, and they also offered Kambô, Hape, Sananga, and when I was down in the jungle, it was just ayahuasca. I didn't even know about any of this stuff, and I was like, holy crap, it's like blowing stuff up my nose and in my eyes, and it was pretty intense. But yeah, so it was just offered.
And that was your first experience?
Yeah, and I actually
What made you want to go there?
To what?
To go to the
ceremony.
Yeah,
I wanted to go for the ayahuasca.
Okay, and were you dealing with some sort of
no,
rock bottom, down, depression, something?
Back to so I guess like why I went to ayahuasca in the
Let's
very
go
first
back.
place.
Let's get personal.
Yeah.
Let's get inside of you.
Well, my life was I was a model, pretty successful and traveling all around the world. There was a lot of money, a lot of drugs. At some point I was making, $300,000 or more a year. And
International model, Zoolander style.
Nice.
Zoolander style, I guess. Yeah, I lived in New York and
Did
lived
you have
in
a Blue
Paris
Steel look or no?
I did, but it's been years, man.
Just
so
do
don't
one
ask
model
me.
look.
Yeah, I can't do it. It doesn't work anymore.
You're doing all that Europe, America, Asia,
Everywhere,
all over
yeah.
the place.
I lived in Paris, New York. Anyways, and it was just copious amounts of cocaine.
Yeah.
And like a lot, and bottles of Grey Goose, VIP, all that bullshit, club shit, and girls, and I mean it was crazy. One time I spent $10,000 in a strip club and flew a stripper to the Bahamas the next day, and so I planned ayahuasca, and I didn't quite know what I was getting myself into. I planned it like a year before, and it was coming to, I ended up going down there, and my whole life just did a 180, and literally within like 2 months from coming back, I got married. I moved to LA. There's so much like.
So you got sick of that shit? You were just tired of.
I just saw who I was, who I really was.
That first ceremony had that.
It was 5 ceremonies in a week, but it was pretty heavy. Good nice. Shaman, really powerful, and yeah. So I guess I could describe this as the ayahuasca opened my eyes. It made me realize that I was more than who I was being, acting and all that, and then. When I came back and I went to that ceremony, I introduced my new girlfriend, who's now my wife, and Kambo was the medicine that kind of pushed everything into gear. So I really look at it like an integration medicine, among other things. I call it the Ganesh of all medicines. It removes obstacles in your path. It pushes the energy out from inside you and around you. What's really beautiful about Kambo is that like ayahuasca, for example, will bring up new things that are not new, but they're suppressed, but it's new for you at that time in your life. And the Bufo medicine, like all these San Pedro, there's many different medicines, and they all bring up new things for you. New perspectives and all that. And the Kambo, I don't want to say it doesn't bring up a new perspective, but it's really working within the framework of your body, the auric field, the electromagnetic field. And so it's great for people who kind of want to stay at this level, you keep going up and up and up with ayahuasca. It's a lot to process, and so the Kambo will come in and it just clears your energy and clears in front of you, and so you can actually work at that level, and it just shifts things in your path, like so many things.
So I think as a combo with ayahuasca and other medicine, you get the best results, or not necessarily. Is it different for each person in your experience?
Kambo is a very powerful medicine on its own, and most of the time I serve it on its own. Sometimes we work with other medicines as well. When it comes to working with ayahuasca and Kambo, there are many tribes on the Brazil side specifically that work with both of those medicines. I personally work with the Matses tribe, which does not. They only work with the Kambo and other medicines, but they don't have any...
No ayahuasca.
No. So when you take Kambo before ayahuasca, it really cleans out the body, clears the energy, it really flushes out just even the system. And so the ayahuasca can actually be received better and deeper, and it goes deeper into the system and the mind, the brain, the emotional body, everything. When you take Kambo right after ayahuasca, meaning like literally even the next morning after, you just close the ceremony, you're not feeling the effects of ayahuasca, you can do the Kambo medicine. The ayahuasca allows the Kambo to come in at a deeper level. And so ayahuasca really releases your state of victimhood, of putting labels, like I've got all these problems and all that, and it opens up into this beautiful state of allowing any other medicine to come into the system at a deeper level.
So let's talk about the frog itself.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, how was it discovered? Like, how did they come across this and they're like, oh, let's take something off? And for the people that don't know how that, like, kind of walk us through that process.
Yeah. Well, I'm really happy to have this podcast because there's a lot of things that are just not true about Kambo. And they've been passed around to a lot of Kambo schools and books and things like that. But when you're talking about with where Kambo came from, it's really mixed in a lot of culture, a lot of oral history, a lot of just a lot of different cultures as well. So in Brazil, the Catuquina claim that they discovered it, and in fact 7 years ago or so they've got an intellectual copyright or property patent on it. We can talk about that later. On the Matse side, they were the ones who started working with it. So the Matses, actually, through the interviews that I've been getting from them while I've been shooting the Kambo documentary I'm working on, on the Brazil side, you've got the Hunikuan tribe and the Catuquina, and they say that it was actually shown under the influence of ayahuasca. And they asked the spirit. There's a story of Kambo, who was the shaman who was trying to heal his village, and they were sick of all sorts of different ailments, and he couldn't do it. He used every plant that they had, and he ended up drinking ayahuasca and asking the spirit of ayahuasca how he could heal their village, and ayahuasca held a frog in his hand and presented it. We just posted a picture on Instagram today that's actually that vision. And so it's the spirit of ayahuasca sharing the frog, holding in his hands and telling the shaman how to serve it, how to administer it.
And now this is a jungle monkey frog. Is that what they call it?
They just call it Kambo, or in the Matsus they call it Akate.
Okay.
But tree frog, huh?
Yeah, it's a tree frog, and it really does look like a monkey. It kind of like has a very...
And it's slow.
They're not really slow, but they're very docile. And they don't move fast. They don't like run away. They're just kind of not afraid of anything. You can just hold it on your hand and walk for miles, and they don't like try and run for their life or anything.
And no one's trying to kill it.
What do you mean?
Do they kill it to get the combo out of it, or
they don't kill the frog? No. Okay, and in fact, yeah.
Oh, but before that, and that's a good question. They don't have any predators, do they?
This is kind of a conversation that people say it doesn't have predators. It actually does.
Okay.
But like we don't really know. There's certain animals that will grab it and they wish they never grabbed it, and so it's kind of hard.
They get fucked up, right?
So.
But that's like running into an earthquake. I mean, you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
No one's trying to like eat it to survive.
Right. Well, they're like there's birds that come like eagles, different things. There's certain pit vipers and snakes and things like that.
Okay.
But yeah, everybody says it has no predators. It's kind of true because there's no real like I'm hunting that animal.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I don't really know the process of how it goes down. Like I think I mean what I've heard from some of my friends at the Matse is they sometimes when the snake will grab it, it's sort of like an accident, so to say. And if the frog can release its venom before the snake gets its fangs in it, then it's done. But at the same time, it has all these toxins. I don't really understand that.
So that venom is the same venom that we scrape off to use.
Yeah. So it's really toxic to animals, but these peptides are bioactive in our human systems. And the Matses apply it to their dogs and different things. So it's actually good for the body when it's
So it's a defense
correctly.
mechanism against predators, but it somehow has these effects on
Well,
us.
basically, it's kind of like if you took a lot of
Would it be
Kambo,
lethal
it
for
would
us?
be a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's not that necessarily the Kambo would kill you, but the activation of what it does into your system could send you into overdrive.
Yeah.
So
back to Eric's question. Please explain how you scrape it off of a frog and what's the process of.
there's kind of two main ways of extracting the medicine. The Catuquina tribe in Brazil, they are the most humane about it. they actually just hold the frog in their hand and they kind of massage it a little bit. And obviously it's irritating the frog. It's not liking it. That's why it's releasing the venom, you know.
Massage a little bit and then it comes,
So yeah, and then they
nice.
they take a stick and scrape off the medicine and put it onto a wood pallet.
Right.
The Matses actually tie it up and spread the legs apart like an X, and they kind of mess with the frog a little bit. The really good elders and the people who are like older in the tribe, they have much more care and finesse with this process, and they usually just kind of push on the hands and you know, irritate it, but they're actually chanting and speaking to it, and they, you know, Don Lucho is a friend of mine. He says to the frog he's like, I'm your strength, you're mine, we are one, you are one, I am one with you, you're one. And he's saying this over and over as he's doing this to the hands. And I've seen other Matses who are sticking sticks up their butt, in their nose, and kind of really messing with it a little bit, and then it starts to release it. And it's surprising how long sometimes it takes for it to actually release the medicine.
Is that when their hands are in strings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so that actually is another point, because we're working with a lot of different ways to bring the matses to extracting it a little bit differently.
Because I would imagine vegans have a problem with that, right? Would some consider that animal cruelty?
Well, I think more than just vegans have a problem with that, but it's really, at the same token, all the medication, all the other things that we use in our society, those that have been extracted from animals or plants, they're not done in a humane way. They're actually locked up in a cage and tested and like
we just don't know.
Microchipped and whatever's going on. Yeah, and so it's really it is very, very humanely extracted medicine. And interestingly enough, the frogs don't run for their life after. When last trip that we were down there, we were extracting the medicine, and we had maybe like 8 or 9 frogs or so. And once they're done, you know, they just kind of like walk off, like, yeah, okay, see you later. And there was one frog that had a string still around its wrist, and we couldn't get it off, and it kind of walked away a little bit, and then I grabbed it and I started to pull it off, and then he kind of was like wiggling out, just not wiggling, but just kind of still walking, and then and it's a little slippery at that point, and so then I tried to pull it off again, and he kind of got on my hands, and I grabbed it, and at that point he started hopping. He was like actually jumping for his life. Yeah, okay. I mean, not for his life, but you know, he's running off. So it's really fascinating. They have a true connection with the frog and how it's extracted. There's a connection with the frog that the shaman or the hunter has with it. It's an agreement, and this is something that all the tribes talk about. There is a spiritual agreement that they have that they won't harm the frog, and they actually really, it's a form of respect. They love this frog. They don't want to harm it.
Is it true that they sing to it like the one on Vice?
They sing to it like I can't really remember that Vice. It was such a bad display of what the Kambo was. God, what did he do? He
was trying to sing to it.
What was he saying?
It was like.
Who was this?
No, I'm fucking with you, but it was really singing to it.
The shaman was, or the guy on Vice?
Like that guy.
Yeah. No, he was really trying to sing to it.
I personally haven't seen that, but I mean, there are a lot of different shamans that use the
like, that's the only way it comes
songs.
out. It won't come out if you don't hear it sing and then you sing back
that's
to it.
That's not true. No, it comes out. But there, you know, the shamanic element and the energetic element and the spiritual element and the respect element, that's all into the intention of the person singing whatever Ikaros or whatever.
Yeah.
That being said, the Matses, and I'm sure other tribes as well, when they're catching the frog, they really mimic the frog's noise and sound. And that's more of just like frogs like going off over here and over there, and then they'll call to it, and it kind of responds back and forth. We were out there last time, I was like, rah, 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 trying, and they're like,
that's it.
I'm like, no noise. And then my buddy Alejandro, he's sitting there, like, frogs are going wild. I was like, yeah, he's good.
So they're only in that only place in the world that they exist, these frogs?
Yeah, I mean, there's different types of them. Like, they're similar. There's one that's actually blue, or it's like greenish blue, and that's a little bit further north. And there's like some of these frogs have even been transplanted, and obviously they can live anywhere, but that's the source of where they're from.
Because I was thinking if Kambo gets really big and throughout the world, and they want to use it in medicinal ways, they're gonna have to, I mean, for it to be sustainable, to make enough to reach the whole world. It could get complicated.
Well, that's a big thing, right?
Are they gonna?
Well, the interesting thing is when they're in captivity, it does not do half of the benefits that it does physically, and energetically it doesn't happen at all. And part of that might be because of the diet is different, the state of the emotional state of the frog,
they're not stressed, a
lot of that stuff,
that's why they let it go.
But there is a real spiritual thing happening here. These frogs are here to help us, and there is an agreement with the tribes and these frogs of pure respect and love. And so that is another really, really key part of what is going on. And so when that's not happening, the results are going to be different, obviously.
Is it actually fun when you're on it? Is it like a good experience, or is it?
No, hell no.
No? He's like, no.
Well, I wouldn't say the word when you're on it. Like, this, and even with a lot of different plant medicines, mushrooms, ayahuasca, whatever, because it's not really like that. These medicines actually open up a window into what's already within you. So,
but the purging process is it's
so
pretty
when
harsh.
you're going through the experience of it, is it fun? I wouldn't say it's fun, but the thing is that people don't really understand the process of Kambo. They think that, that was so intense. It's actually not. It's how your life is. Kambo is as easy as your life is. Yeah. As toxic as your body is, that stuff is getting dumped into your stomach all at once, and you're having a release of that, and that's what you're feeling. The Kambo peptides and everything actually feel really good. And so in the ceremonies I do, I really, every single time, it's very redundant for people who've been there, but I said, okay, I want you to sit there, meditate, observe the sensations. There's one peptide that's 4,000 times stronger than morphine. Sometimes you latch onto that, and you can feel really like vibrationally high during the process. And you observe the heat, all these sensations, and if you can drop into the first few minutes of it, where it's just coming into the system and it's really actually connecting with you. If you can meditate, we do meditations before our ceremonies as well. And of course we offer hape medicine, but now we've been doing a 15-minute Kundalini exercise. And
see, I should have done all of that. Like I wasn't. I came right in between, and it was a pretty harsh experience for me. And I'm sure that has nothing to do with it, but mentally I wasn't that prepared because I was trying to bring a cameraman too. But my head was in the bucket pretty much for most of the recording, I would imagine. And then you didn't say it there, but later on I watched a video of you and you're trying to explain to people like, you just got to man up and you got to sit up straight and go through it with grace, and I was like a little bitch and like, so.
I don't know if I said man up, but,
but you were right though. Cause you want to, you got to kind of like go through it and embrace the feel, but it was rough on me and my stomach was having kind of,
you get nauseous,
cramps.
It gets easier as you do it more times, your system's cleaner and you've been rebooted, you're stronger.
Yeah.
But really, so just to clarify this, so I tell people to sit in a meditative state. You can either be seated up, or you can even be like on your knees and hands like a frog, really. And you want to keep your head above your shoulders. When it's lower, some of the toxins from the kidney and the gallbladder, the kidneys and the gallbladder, they gets backed up a little bit, and some of those get stored in the soft tissue of the face. There's more swelling and all that stuff. But also, the chakras are closing, and so I've seen people leaning over their bucket like kind of struggling, and I'm like, sit up, and they sit up and they throw up. And so what's going on is I tell them to connect to it. They connect to it. They feel all the sensations. If you're sitting there and you really are doing that, it is really a good experience.
I would imagine it's easier to do that the second or third or fourth time.
Yeah, there's some people who lock onto it. And then what happens is it starts to kick out like all the bad stuff. The nose will clog sometimes. This is draining the lymphatic system from the lymphatic tracts from the brain. It's pulling metal, parasites.
Let me ask you this though. Now tell me if I'm
real quick. I want to say like the reason I brought up the whole like the fun factor thing, because I think the perception is to a lot of people out there that don't know what it is, that it's just people go do it for fun or they just want to get high or something like that.
Yeah, it's not that kind of medicine.
And this stuff, and that's not what it is. It's not when people go do coke or
No,
ecstasy
definitely not.
stuff like
And
that,
and
so
nor is
I wanted to
ayahuasca. And if
clarify
your
that,
intentions
yeah.
are for that, you might get a few minutes into the ceremony and go, "Oh shit, this is actually serious."
I'm in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Yeah, just X out of this YouTube link. Motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. So tell me if I'm crazy or not. I felt like a frog during that. Is that a thing?
You are not crazy.
I'm not, right?
It's a live spirit. It's real.
Look, dude, I'm telling you, I felt like I had
Like you're a frog.
Yeah.
I felt like I have a frog spirit.
You are taking on the energy of this animal. So there's no known
Do you
predators.
hear other
so
people
they
say that? Have you heard that? Like
Oh
people,
yeah,
people
myself, many people. But this
It's so
frog
weird.
has some unique characteristics. Okay, so supposedly no known predators. I mean, there's probably not anything that's specifically. There's nothing that's specifically hunting it.
Right.
Like when sharks
So,
attack people. They,
Yeah, they're going for people.
Yeah.
No, they're going for seals.
Yeah.
People that look like seals. Okay, so there's no known predators. The frogs only hop in a forward direction, and they don't catch any viruses. Their eyes also move in a 360. So we're talking
like
about
a dinosaur.
So we're talking about
Oh,
moving
yeah.
forward in life without catching and having like a protection shield while being able to be present and aware of what's going on everywhere. And so that energy comes into the person. You feel it. You become that. And literally, yes, a lot of people turn into frogs, especially after they go and drink ayahuasca or they work with psychic healers or pranic healers or whatever. Their aura changes into green. They have a lot of different.
I felt green too.
I see a lot of frogs in you. That's all the time. Yeah.
It's very interesting, and the face swells like a frog. Mine didn't swell, but I've seen people's face that swells kind of.
It can in some people, yeah.
Why does that happen, and why does it not happen to certain people like myself that are superheroes?
Well, one of the reason, like I said before, is some of the toxins are going up into the soft tissue of the face.
Ah.
Some of the peptides also bring elasticity to the skin and different things. It looks like an allergic reaction, but it's not actually that. Most of the allergies, if not all of them, are really things that are locked in your lymphatic system. And so when that is flushed out, we have many people who have like severe allergies to bee stings, all sorts of different things, and then after a few sessions of Kambo, they're not allergic to them anymore. And so it's really just dumping all that out. And so, of course, some of these things are getting moved in the body, and they'll kind of adjust and move around. And
Have you seen people with bad reactions?
No.
Anybody died on you? Or?
Never, no. I've probably served maybe 5,000 people in the last...
Well, it's not psychoactive.
Yeah.
It's not psychoactive at all. Okay.
No.
I mean, besides feeling like a frog, I guess.
Yeah. So you see frogs and you feel like a
You
frog.
feel like a
but
frog.
It's not psychoactive.
Outside of thinking like you're an animal, it's not psychoactive.
Okay.
Which is
It's not psychoactive, but there is a peptide that comes in, and it when it hits the system, it can create a sort of psychoactive effect, but it's not psychoactive, and it's not actually it's not really like that. It kind of maybe feels like that, but it's rare. I mean, people can pass out during the process. And during that state, most of them or a lot of them, first of all, they don't even know that they passed out, but they actually, we can get into why that happens, and why that happens more with people doing it the westernized way versus the indigenous way. But what happens is they have visions of the jungle and of frogs. And it's like, how is that possible? This is the spirit of the frog. Also, there can be some sort of like, appears like it's a psychoactive effect during the process as your senses get super heightened.
correct.
You're actually seeing energy and feeling energy that's going on. And so
that's why the hunters take it?
Yeah. But the point is it's not actually a psychoactive effect. It's actually just making you more in tune of what is here that we're not seeing. It heightens all your senses. You're more
So
present.
actually carry on with your day. You can actually be on it and go hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely can. The hunters will take it right before a hunt. They'll go out hunting all night. But in our society, and people who are new to this, we come from a very toxic society. Just the food, the water, the air, like whatever, all the drugs whoever's taking or alcohol and stuff. And so those things are going to get dumped out. And so it actually is still processing for some people. And some people are feeling the cleansing effects for even like a week. They'll have diarrhea and stuff off and on, and it's not like you're going to be purging or anything. But
So is it true that it's mainly a hunter's medicine back in Amazon, and they actually envision their hunt as they take this? Or
it's more of a hunter's medicine and a practical medicine in terms of healing the body. There are some tribes that use it spiritually as well for manifesting luck and bringing abundance and things into the life. But in terms of like imagining the hunt, it's not the way. That's not true.
Okay.
I gave a speech about a year and a half ago, and really, it's interesting. I said some things there that I thought were true, that I had read in books and, studied, and like I was kind of rushed on the speech because I had so many things I was doing. I didn't prepare so well or whatever. And this was just because I was inexperienced in terms of what was really going on. Yeah. And I'm not judging myself, but the speech was okay. I've had a lot of people reach out to me for it, but basically I said some things in there that I had read in books that are not true. And I didn't know that at the time. There's a lot of myths around all this stuff. But one of the things was that they take Kambo to imagine the hunt. This is written in a book that I don't want to say this is written in a book that is like a very, very famous, the most famous book on Kambo, and there's a lot of things in there that just are not true.
Yeah,
and
some people like to mystify things, make it more interesting.
Yeah,
people like
more journalistic aspects. Yeah,
sounds good.
Yeah, there is a type of hape that the Matses use. That is their regular hape, and they put a tiny little bit of Kambo in it, or a kate as they call it, and you go through a very long process with it. It's blown in the nose. It's usually about an hour or so, and during that process, some people pass out quite a bit, and so they tend to have visions and things like that. But it's not necessarily like a premonition of something. So it could be.
Let's talk about the process of putting it on, or the process of the medicine where you burn people.
Yeah, this is a really, really important discussion because a lot of people are doing it incorrectly, and a lot of stuff is just kind of not.
I thought you taking some out.
Some Kambo, yeah, no.
Move my arm out. I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so
there's the rubber band.
Okay, so first of all, how it's applied is the first layer of skin is burned off by a timishi stick. It's a very small stick in diameter, and you could use anything. I've used sage before, but this piece of wood actually burns very well.
Okay.
And so the marks, if you see them here,
yeah,
I don't know, some on this arm, I don't know.
Oh yeah.
So just the first layer is burned off.
Flex it.
Flex.
Yeah.
So okay.
We're good.
Yeah. So the first layer is burned off, and then the secretion is put on top of that. Okay. We can talk about how. No, whatever. So it's put on. I was gonna backtrack. Okay, let's just backtrack. So first of all, after it's extracted from the frog, it gets put on these wooden pallets. Okay, and then it dries, and then a lot of people are using water to take it off, but that's not the way. When you use your saliva, first of all, your energy is going into that, as well as there's an activation of the peptides that makes it really strong, much stronger. And I'm not talking necessarily about the effects, but the energetic effects of what it goes in. It's doing a lot deeper. So that is put on to the skin, and then the process happens pretty quickly. It's usually 15 seconds or so before the people start to feel it.
That quick? Wow.
Yeah. But we'll talk about application now, since we brought that up. So there's a lot of people out there doing this like acupuncture meridian stuff. It's bullshit. It's a total, we've been duped.
What, acupuncture in general? You said?
No, acupuncture is great, but they're integrating the Chinese medicine system.
He's about the clickbait.
They're integrating
we
the
got
Chinese
our title.
Yeah. Okay, so there's a lot of training schools. Really, they are they're just making stuff up and overcompensating. Okay, and so there's no real training on Kambo. There's some protocols that you could read in a manual, but this is an initiation, it's an immersion, it's a connection to the frog, to the tribe. That's where it really happens.
Okay.
And so there's that, and that's a whole thing that we'll talk about. But they're working with acupuncture meridians or the Chinese medicine system, and I did this for years, and I didn't know what was going on. Kambo works through the lymphatic system. That's how it enters the body. So the Matses men put it on the chest and on the thighs.
Okay.
As you look at the anatomy, the lymphatic system's here and right in the pelvis area. they put the women on the shoulders and on the ankles.
Okay.
Other tribes in Brazil, they put the men on the shoulders and the women on the ankles. So we're talking distance from the lymphatic system as it's moving in. We're talking the intensity of that, right? So the amount of Kambo coming in, some people are putting like 30 points on people and they're doing all this like heroic stuff.
Yes.
And they've got it all over the body. Most of that's not even entering the body. We're talking about putting a fire medicine onto a very delicate, precise, ancient technology from the East, where it's a fine metal needle going into the skin. During this Kambo documentary, I've filmed many acupuncture specialists, and they all say like, no, it's like it's a theory, maybe, but it's no, it doesn't. That's not how the Kambo works. Go and get acupuncture. Come and do Kambo. Go and get acupuncture. That's it. There's some I forget the tradition in Asia, but these are acupuncture specialists, and they put 1 point on. They burn themselves on stomach 36, which is a point for the stomach. And they burn themselves intentionally, so it's permanently burned, and then that meridian is opened forever. And so we're training people, not me, or people are training people to burn the shit out of all these energy meridians, and we're like opening all these channels and opening up. It's not the way. It's just not the way. So it's very interesting. Like I've put a lot of Kambo on people, and then like just a few in the right spot, and it's just boom, it goes in.
Immediate.
It's an intelligence. It goes exactly where it needs to go. Women who've had sexual issues or traumas, taking birth control, they feel it right in their uterus. I have a broken toe that has been a little sesamoid bone. It's annoying as hell. It's been like a year and a half, and like I'll feel it right there in my toe. People feel it here. They feel it there. It's very different. It goes where it needs to go.
And you put it on, and then you just let it dissolve slowly over time. You don't take it off right away, right?
Well, okay.
'Cause I was getting tempted at some point to take it off.
Good boy, you didn't. So, yeah, the matses, they put it on and let it dry. Okay, so you'll go through the process until it's dried, and then they just let it fall off naturally, and then they wait an hour before bathing. It's because they're bathing in so it doesn't get infected. They're bathing in the river, so it's probably gonna get some bacteria or something. There's a like the Yawanawa, I believe it's the Yawanawa. As soon as you purge bile, they wipe it off. And the Yawanawa learned from the Katukina, and so it's not their medicine. I mean, it's theirs, but it's, you know what I mean? It's not.
Okay. They caught on later on.
Yeah.
So this month, I have a couple of questions about the tribe. Is it a huge tribe? Like how many?
It's a pretty big tribe. They're considered probably the wealthiest tribe because they have the most land, but they're poor. They don't have any money, and they're being exploited by a lot of different things.
And in general, most people in the tribe use Kambo, or is it,
Yeah.
does everybody do it? Is it just like a normal?
Yeah, it's a normal thing, and that's the thing is this whole like warrior initiation that people train to do. This is bullshit. This is a made-up thing. There is no such warrior.
Kids,
There's no warrior initiation. This is not a macho thing. This is a way of life. There's 3-year-olds lining up to get Kambo. I was doing it in the jungle many times with 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds, and then we got us and like a couple people in the retreat are like, oh man, I just like, can we do it later? You know, I'm like, why did you come? You know, you came to do it. And then I'm like, look. It's like when I used to do like cycling class, I would go to and I'd sit like near the most overweight person, far away from the door, and I'm like, I'm good. And I look over and I'm like, okay.
Look at this guy.
So yeah, go and do the Kambo with the Matzi's 3-year-old, and then that'll give you some confidence.
Yeah. I know they love making that savage tribal warrior bullshit.
But this is a big deal because there's a school that does this warrior initiation where you take like 9 or 10 points. And then an hour later, you take another 10, and an hour later, and more. Like I can't remember the number exactly, but it's like 30-something points. And people are passing out. People have gone to the hospital during trainings and all. It's like crazy what's going on. It is not about how much Kambo. It's about what's coming out, what it's doing to the system. And there's no dose for anybody. I can give like 1 or 2 points to one person, and they'll pass out or like have a really hard time. And I can give like 11 or so to another person, and it's the same thing.
That was my next question. How would you say like first person you do it until they feel it? You kind of feel them out?
There really is a spirit of the frog. I do a lot of Kambo. I've been initiated through different elders. There's an energy that I can just tell. It's crazy. And so a lot of these training classes, they tell you to put one on a person and wait 10 minutes in case anything happens. I'm like, what are we waiting for to happen that could be bad here? Like, I don't understand that. The person, if you don't think that they're good to do it, you shouldn't be giving it to them. Occasionally, I will give somebody one point, and it lubricates the body. That's how I look at it. And so it eases the person into it, and then I give them more. So if the person is like maybe really fragile or weak,
old,
or really sick or toxic, like for example, when I work with drug addicts, I do a lot of work in different rehab clinics. Pushing out all these drugs all at once is a pretty intense thing. It's pretty intense. And so I ease them into it. I'll maybe put like one on them. What I do is I'll burn them for all the points, because after they're in it a couple, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put some more on. They're like, no, so I kind of like, sometimes I do like, I'll put the 5 marks on them or whatever, and I'll apply 1 or 2, and then I'll put the rest like right to the side. So it's on them, but not on the point. And then I'll walk over and I'll just slide it over as they're in. Once they've had that initial purge, it releases so much energy, and then the intensity goes up, and then it just drops, and then the others start coming in, and it actually like stays a little, it actually goes lower.
So you've seen a lot of results with addicts?
Tons. Yeah.
Let's
so
talk
much
about that.
Okay. What do you want to talk about?
Just what's your experience with addicts and Kambo medicine?
It's one of the best, very best medicines for addicts. A good way of looking at this, okay, if someone's addicted to cigarettes, they have just overload of nicotine and chemicals in their system. So there's a physical thing. They're just like wanting it, right? And then other times they'll have sex, or they'll eat dinner, and then they want a cigarette. And so there's a psychological component to it, emotional response to it. Yeah. And so really, like something like ayahuasca and stuff comes in on that end. Of course, that helps the body as well. And then the Kambo comes in from the physical side, and it also helps the emotional. Okay. So, so what we're doing is pushing out energy that's trapped in the body. So there's physical manifestations of, well, first of all, there's the drugs, okay, and that stuff, which gets pushed through the system. It gets pushed out. It reboots the liver. It dumps the liver, dumps the gallbladder. It reboots the heart, the kidneys. It opens the blood-brain barrier. It starts sending in little...
Which, by the way, I've seen the blood work after Kambo, which I'm sure you have probably too, and it looks so different, the before and after. It's amazing.
Cleans it up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. It unclogs the complete pathways.
Yeah.
There's one peptide that is very potent vasodilator, and it opens the blood-brain barrier. It's antifungal, antimicrobial. It's really, really amazing. So we're going in and like getting rid of all the toxic stuff in the body. It's dumping it into the stomach, and then they purge it out. And so first of all, also, they get to take responsibility for what they've done. They get to see how intense that energy is, and you actually feel the energy come out. You can taste the metal. You can taste the cocaine. It's crazy. And they usually sweat like crazy. A lot of metals coming out of the skin. And so there's a lot of other peptides that come in and reboot the brain and heighten the senses and actually get their life back for a moment. And so they're like, whoa, they have a lot of clarity. I gave a meth addict, and he was a heroin addict. He'd been taking these drugs since he was like in his teens, and he was in his late 50s every day. Wow. This guy, a lot, okay?
Lesson for being alive.
Yeah, so I gave him 2 Kambo sessions in a day, actually, and he said to me after he got out of his second nap, he was like, man, this is the first day in my life that I haven't had any cravings. And he didn't have any cravings for about a week. And then he got introduced to some other people and did some different medicines as well. But the point is that it really gives you a window, and it can actually, I've given it to drug addicts and they actually stop forever. But most of them, it's not enough. They need to have the emotional, why they did that. Yeah. They need to have the psychological, the spiritual. There's many different elements to healing. It's not just physical, like a westernized way of looking at it. Yeah.
And let's be real, I felt like I still needed to do a couple of more sessions, or maybe at least another one. And you say that it's usually recommended to do 3 sessions in one moon cycle, correct?
The Katukina tribe recommends doing 3 in a lunar cycle, which is 28 days.
Okay.
And then 1 minimum every 3 months. That's what the Katukina tribe recommends.
Okay.
Okay, the 3 gives your system a full reboot. Usually women after this tend to have their period on the new moon, and no cramps, no headaches. It'll reset your metabolism.
Wow.
It'll reset your sleep cycle. People tend to sleep less, wake up with more energy, clarity.
Nice.
However, I see that people need it 4, and I actually recommend that they do 4 in a lunar cycle in a month at least.
So once a week or so?
Yeah, because our bodies are weaker. You know, we've been taking Tylenol and God knows what, and since we were little kids, we live in a much more toxic environment, and this is not our energy. We're so used to being babies, and like when we're sick, we take NyQuil or DayQuil to cover it up. These tribes, like, they'll take something that makes them purge and get it out, and they're just done. Boom. You know? And so we need more Kambo with lower doses, and you have to ease the person into it. So the Matses tribe, they just do it all the time. The Hunikuan, they do it like once a week, 4 or so for this reset. The Yawanawa, they have their process, and then they have a diet after. No tobacco, no sex for a week. The Matses, it's more of just a way of life for them, and they do it just all the time. So, but like one man, Don Lucho, who we're applying for visas for the Matses tribe, and we're bringing a few of them in a few months. He is covered in Kambo from his elbows, both elbow to elbow, just covered here with Kambo points.
Burns everywhere.
Yeah. And this is layer probably 40 or so. His whole life, right? He's in his 70s probably. And this man does Kambo every day that it rains in the morning because he can't go and work that day. And it's a way for him to take advantage of that opportunity. It rains half the year down there. So it's a lot of rain, a lot of Kambo.
6 months out the year, he's on it.
Yeah, and he does only 3 points every time.
That's it.
Yeah. And this guy goes hunting all night long. He is chopping down grass with the machete all day long. He's building houses. He's their best medicine man. He's serving Kambo. His youngest child is 2 or 3 years old. He's got a 5-year-old. Wow. Like, the guy has energy like you'd never seen ever. I don't even know anyone. He's like better than the Energizer Bunny. And he's present, and he doesn't talk that much. And not even in his own language to his people. He's just like Kambo teaches you to take a breath before you speak.
What are they hunting?
Anything.
Whatever moves.
Really, no. We ate like jungle rats, and every time I'm down there, it's just like, okay, here we go. But
so you eat meat.
Jungle rats.
I do. I really want to actually go and be vegan or vegetarian, but down in the jungle, it's really hard to be a Buddhist down in the jungle. It's all the mosquitoes. It's crazy, you know. But no, it's for me. It's more like the circle of life and like Avatar. You know, having respect for the life and the energy offered, and when you can actually. In our society, our food is just like packaged up and we buy it. Yeah. We have no connection to the cow or to whatever's going on. Even your vegetables, you really don't have that much of a connection to it. Like you're buying it at Ralph's or whatever, Costco, whatever you shop at, right? You're not growing it. It's not like there's people who are, but the majority, they're not. And so really, so we'd say, oh, that's bad, that's good. But you have no idea.
Yeah,
go down there and live there.
Where the food's coming from, how it's processed.
Yeah, go live there. The Matses, they back in the day when they actually had all the land in the world, they would hunt a specific area and then another area and another area just to kind of like do like game control sort of, and just pure respect. It's not about like we're going hunting, guys.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Let's go kill an
animal.
I hated like barbecue places or some like burger places. There's like a happy pig on the. I fucking hate that. It's just so fucked up.
It looks wrong.
Smiling pig.
But that's interesting though, because you eat meat, but you do the Kambo a lot. Doesn't your body reject that? Because when I came to you said that don't eat meat at least for like what, 2 or 3 days before that?
With no, I don't say that.
So it's not rough on the body?
No, I mean, look, whatever's in your system is gonna come out, and so if you want to make an easier combo process, it's gonna be smoother. I tell people to not eat pork. That's a really bad one.
Haram.
But I mean, it's like 36 hours as it's coming out of your body. It's rotten by the time it comes out. It's really messed up. Don't eat that, you guys. But
so
really,
halal meat is good.
but no, I don't tell people to not eat meat. I don't know where you heard that from. It wasn't me. But yeah, it's if you want to eat clean, that's the ideal way.
Well, speaking of that, you serve some sort of a soup during your process, which I'm very thankful for, because I can't even imagine not taking that and purging, because then what are you really purging out? Just yellow water.
Yeah.
Bile, huh?
It'll be this was like the smoothest throw up I've ever had. It was just like coming out. I was like, this is nice. I liked it.
It's not necessarily a soup.
I could get into
Yeah.
We have some
I was like, I should have had more.
ratatouille soup for you before the combo.
But it really helps, and I don't think anybody else does that but you.
Nobody
you
does
are the
that.
Man.
I don't know anybody that does it. It's really good. So no tribe ever from the beginning of time has served combo with water. This is another bullshit made up thing.
But everyone's doing it here.
Everyone's doing it because they're getting their like
you heard it first.
research from the law.
You don't drink water.
No, this is like, look, there's certain organizations out there that are the law on combo.
Yeah.
And I've gotten asked, they're like, are you certified with them? I'm like, no, I work with the Matses directly. We have a team of doctors and psychologists, and we actually kind of do our thing. But water is bad. It is so bad. So they're teaching you to drink, how much is in here? 1.5 liters. They're teaching you to drink that much water, and sometimes more, right before your combo session. You are just loaded with water. People, first of all, they've been fasting for 6 hours or for 12 hours sometimes. And then you get these other people who actually have been on a fast, which that's something I don't agree with at all. And they come in and you pound all this water and you're shaking, you're cold, you're like bloated. It just sucks. You're just, oh my God, it's not a good experience. And then you start to purge and you're projectile vomiting buckets of water, and they're telling you to drink more water. And you're just like, get it out. It's like a pump. Because it's like a pump. Once the water hits, it kind of grabs more.
Why are they telling you? Why do they say drink water? If the tribes don't do it that way.
What's going on is there's no connection to the tribes.
Just lost in translation.
Yeah. It's not even.
Stay hydrated is that thing probably.
No, it's not even that. Okay,
maybe
so
some Gatorade. Yeah.
It's dangerous. It'll deplete your sodium levels, especially in the brain. I've personally seen 2 people go to the hospital, not under my watch, but they were frothing at the mouth. They went catatonic. They were literally, it was in a retreat.
Under whose watch? No, don't say it. I'm just kidding.
No, but it was somebody from the Hunikuan tribe, actually.
Okay.
And so this
was out there.
This was a retreat in the desert. It was somewhere. It was in the desert.
Hunikuan
Kachinoa.
I know that guy.
It's just a good name.
It means truth.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I liked it. You know.
I know the Kuni Muni tribe.
So let me tell you what happened. So
Okay.
it was in the desert, several days of a lot of different medicines, including ayahuasca.
Yeah.
People were obviously dehydrated and tired.
Yes.
Pounding water to go and do combo, and then one woman had a seizure, and she was in a state for about it was just on and off. She went to the hospital, like catatonic, like shaking, frothing at the mouth, sodium levels super depleted, and they gave her an IV. And then day 2, another woman went in the hospital, and the first one came out. Day 3, woman 2 came out, woman 1 went back in. This is crazy.
Wow.
So working with water is dangerous. First of all, or also the toxins, the bile, all this stuff comes out into the stomach, and it goes down the digestive tract, and some of it's going to get reabsorbed as it's going out of the system. So the matses, they use cassava or masato, and all the tribes use this. So what it is a yucca blend, fermented. Okay. Sometimes they put a little bit of different plants in it as well, but it's primarily just a fermented yucca, and they do that by actually chewing the yucca while they're making it.
What do you mean they use like you're supposed to eat some after you get the point?
Drink this before, and then then apply the medicine. And literally, I give people maybe that much. So when you come to our combo sessions, you get probably here or like that much yucca, cassava. That's it. And you drink that. give you the medicine, and then start to feel the effects. A lot of the bile and stuff gets absorbed into the yucca. If you leave this on the counter, it's going to be all sticky and kind of messy. And so you don't actually feel it. It usually takes a little bit longer, about 10-15 minutes before people start purging. Normally it's like 5 to 10 minutes or so. And then you'll purge a little bit. People are throwing up like this much in the bucket, 1 to 2 inches or so. And then it goes out the backside. And then if people are really struggling and they're like kind of dry heaving or having heavy bile come out, then we give them
diarrhea.
Then they can drink more water during. But if you're drinking a lot of water, you're rushing the process. The matses like it so that you don't drink water and more, because it works the stomach muscles inside and outside. It contracts the stomach. Yeah. This is pretty difficult for a lot of people. You sit there retching for a little while. Yeah. But everybody, once we switched to doing this as earlier part of this year, everybody says it's way easier. They get more results. They recover faster.
Some cooked blended cassava root. Drink that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more of a process, but yeah, it takes about like 4 hours or so for me to make it, and it's quite a lot of work. And I think part of it, people are lazy, but really the real reason is because 95% of the people serving Kambo have never held a frog in their hand. They have never been onto the tribe. They have no idea what's going on, and they are just like, there's a guy that gave a speech after me, and he basically said pretty much everything I did, and then he started reading a bunch of rules from an organization. And I was like, this guy he does not know what he's talking about.
I have his speech.
He knows what he's been told. Shit, you know? And we're all taking these medicines to come out of the matrix, but yet we don't know that you're in another matrix, and working with people who are, some of them to a large degree are acting like pharmaceutical companies, where they are exploiting these medicines, but not necessarily exploiting them, but they're taking a medicine from the Amazon and they're making money on it, and none of this money goes back to the Amazon. And they're not using the trainings from the Amazon. And they have no idea, and these big organizations say they support the Matses or other tribes. They don't. They support one man in the Matses. I know who he is, and he doesn't even live with the tribe. And the tribe sells Kambo for $4, $6 a stick. To him, he resells it for about 20, and then they resell it for like 60, 80 bucks or something like that. And then people are buying it on eBay and all this stuff, and it's just like really messed up.
Looks like it really boils you up seeing these things.
It really does, because I love these people.
You've built some sort of a spiritual connection with these people, huh?
Yeah, and with the medicines, and my I'm the godson of one of the Matse's children.
The good white guy.
The good white.
Well, do they have
gringo.
a name for you? The gringo.
No, but the reality is
the good one.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things which we can talk about toward the end of what we're doing to actually make this more sustainable, to honor the tribes, including selling Kambo at a higher price. But all the money, 95% of the money is going to the tribes. The other 5% is just going for the cost to get it into the country and stuff like that. But
tell me about the tribe. Are they? You said that they're kind of accepted you, and they're kind people.
They're amazing. Yeah. They're just, yeah.
How many times have you been out there?
Like 4 or 5. But it's pretty long when I'm down there. I don't know. The last 6 months I've been down there. In the last 6 months I've been in Peru half the time on 2 separate trips. Okay. But I work with other tribes as well.
How long do you stay out there?
Last time was a month.
A month.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's amazing. Yeah, it's great. I was half the time with the Matses and then half with the Juar tribe, and we're building a center down there with them for ayahuasca and Kambo that the Matses will come in, and there's a lot of other stuff that we're doing. But yeah, the Matses, they're the most practical tribe in the Amazon. This tribe has the most wisdom of any other tribe in terms of plant medicines and what they do. They have an encyclopedia that is written in their language without any pictures to protect the intellectual property of plants. Wow. They have plants that heal the craziest things. One they gave me One they gave me to bring back. It was apparently feeling I shouldn't say this, but anyways, you take a tablespoon of this and it'll heal a death disease like gonorrhea, cancer, HIV, these sorts of things. Pretty wild. So, it's a big claim.
And that worked for you? I'm fucking with you.
I shared it with a couple of my friends, and then they actually ended up going on a retreat, and they were gone. So I don't really know the effects of what happened. But also, it was supposed to be used fresh, and I brought it back. It was a couple weeks before we actually used it. That being said, I don't really. I'm not talking about that medicine, but I'm talking. These guys have, like the whole lockdown on all these plants, and they're spiritual, but not like you would say, like the Hunikun or Yawanawa or Katakina, because they actually drink ayahuasca, and it's all about that element as well. The Matses are more practical. They
there's not so much mystique about it.
Yeah, but at the same time, you are taking the energy of the hunter and giving it to the person. The Matses will receive medicine from, most of them receive it just from themselves until the best hunters around, and then they'll get it from them or the best medicine men. And that's really what Kambo's about. It's about not like if I was to tell somebody on which practitioner to receive Kambo from, I would say the first thing is who are they, like where are they at in their life? What kind of life is this person?
This is about any practitioner.
Yeah, any
not
practitioner.
just Kambo. We're talking about
actually any of course
any shaman.
medicine, any shaman.
Okay, this is important.
This is it. Okay, so
5 things to look for in a good shaman. Go.
5 things.
I'm kidding.
Does he shower? Does he? No. So the first thing
was the international model. Is your shaman an international model though? Because mine is what?
All right. So the first thing is like, who is this person? Would you like to model your life after them? You know, are you gonna have like a fat personal trainer or like? You know, I'm telling this is how you work out. There's a guy that worked at my dad's law office. This really like 300-something pound guy, and he walked in, and these 2 secretaries were talking about diets. And right as my dad walked in, he overheard him say, he says, "Oh, if you guys are talking about diets, ask me. I know I've lost thousands of pounds." So, anyways, so
good one.
Yeah, it's great. It's a true story. But the point is like, what kind of energy is this person carrying?
Okay.
I interviewed maybe 50 Matses people. And I less than that, but over the last like few times, anyhow. So
there was an interviewing process.
Yeah. What do you mean? What?
Oh, you said you interviewed him.
Yeah, I'm filming a Kambo documentary.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
For the documentary.
Yeah. Oh, I was interviewing him. Should I sit with you? Should I do Kambo for you?
That's what I thought too.
I totally pictured it. Yeah.
Like, listen,
next, Alejandro. Nah.
Your resume,
No.
social skills. I don't know.
So, yeah. All right. So basically, I asked them all. I said, "What is the most dangerous thing about Kambo?"
Yeah.
And I was thinking that the answer would be like if someone has a bad heart or something or whatever. What do you guys think they said?
Oh, I know.
Like what? Like what?
Well, I don't know, but
what's the worst thing that could happen? What's the most dangerous?
I
thing
heard
about
that you
receiving
said that don't shove it up your ass.
I didn't say that, but that
You said in your speech. You said don't. there are people that put it on their gums, or they may put it up their butt.
Oh, I did say that.
You did say
They
that,
put it in
man.
the
I do
gland.
research, son.
Okay.
Just eating it. I don't know.
No, okay. What's the worst thing that
Somebody
can
guess.
happen? No, not like
Something.
the worst way to do Kambo, but what's the worst way to?
Yeah.
What's the worst?
What's
thing
the worst thing that can happen?
Yeah. What's the most dangerous thing about Kambo?
Oh, I see.
The effect of it, he meant.
I was thinking. Okay, here's what I was thinking. I was thinking like it's like someone has a bad heart, they're gonna die or something. All right. Well, the answer was don't receive it from a lazy person. They said receiving it from a lazy person is the most dangerous thing.
Why?
Because you're taking their energy. They are giving their energy to you. However,
But the frog's lazy.
It doesn't actually deplete the energy of the person serving it. So this is true. And I have received Kambo from certain people, and it's like, okay, and other people it's like, whoa, like laid me out, like whoa, and like from Lucio, he gives me like 3, 4, 5, and like every time it's just like
That's crazy.
wow, yeah. So,
But that's a 2-way street. I would imagine that.
No,
the person's energy also rubs off on you.
No,
as
that's
shaman.
the thing. And I asked that. I was like, but it doesn't deplete their energy. It doesn't actually take their energy. So it's just like.
So you don't pick up on people's energy that you.
So.
Help out.
This is different conversation. I'm talking about. Yeah, we can talk about. Okay. There's a lot of energy flying around the room and stuff. And yes, there's that kind of stuff as things are being healed and like that. Yes. And I use different plants. Kamalonga specifically to protect myself, and I share it with everybody. We rub it on the body. We work with some other plants like Toei and different things for like bringing abundance and different things afterward and protection and different things. But okay, so in terms of like, if you're serving Kambo to somebody, if you're receiving Kambo to somebody, you want to make sure you're taking it from a person that is just a badass. I don't know. The Matsis women only give it to the women. The Matsis men only give it to the men.
Okay.
Other tribes are a little more, they do whatever.
Yeah.
But this is the Matsis I'm talking about.
Interesting.
So, and I asked, so what if you received it from someone who's a liar? My Spanish is a little bit limited. It's un ladrón, a thief. And they're like, I'm like, will you become a thief? And he's like, yeah, you'll become a thief or you'll become a liar. And I was like, really? It's like that. So, yeah. So that's the first thing I would say. It's three things, okay? The first thing is who are you receiving it from? Like, who are they? How good is their life? The next thing is what is their connection to the frog? The actual frog. Not the spirit of the frog. I've heard people say this on all these Kambo healing blogs. They're like, oh, the spirit of the frog told me to do this and that. Okay, yeah, probably, but also probably your own projections. Like, who knows where the spirit of the frog is here? I'm talking about connecting, actually holding this frog in your hand. I'm talking about the connection to the jungle, to the tribes, being initiated by them. And then the third thing is like following some protocol stuff, which I could give you a little pamphlet. There you go.
Okay.
These are contradictions, don't give it to someone like that. And there's training courses all built around that. That is like lame. And contraindications, actually, that's a whole other talk. There's ways to get around all of them. These are made up stuff, but schools are just cranking out practitioners, so they need to protect themselves, of course.
Actually, I have a question. Have you ever heard anybody with multiple sclerosis, MS, like with it?
Yeah, it's helped a lot.
Really?
I've worked with many people that helps that a lot. It works with inflammation, all sorts of different stuff. There's a lot of peptides that come in and smooth the muscles out, and that's what I'm talking about. Like, Kambo probably won't heal that on its own, but then you bring in all these other medicines, and there you go.
Yeah.
And you bring in the shamanic element where they can pull the entity out. Like, I know 2 people that have gone down and healed Lyme's disease. The Kambo.
Yeah, talk about all the diseases, man. I know you're kind of like being reserved about the diseases, but I know you deal with people with HIV, people that can have children, that now have children now. Like,
many people.
Talk that shit, yo.
Yeah, that's because that's really the point, right?
Yeah.
Why are you taking this medicine?
Yes.
It's not. It's that's why this is coming into the world.
Yeah.
One of my dear friends, Andre and Marisol, much love to them. They've been a big support to the work, and we work a lot. We do a lot of beautiful things at their studio.
A Kundalini teacher of mine.
Yes, 8 Chakra Studios in Santa Ana and the Bodhi Shop in Inglewood. It's really beautiful work that they do. They offer so many different classes, but Marisol couldn't get pregnant, and she's had a lot of traumas, a lot of different sexual traumas and things that have happened to us. She's very open in talking about this, so that's why I'm releasing that. But we gave her a lot of Kambo. They called me into their studio to do Kambo. They've been talking about it, and then we met. They called in the Kambo energy, and we just happened to become really close friends and working together. But we started to serve them, and she ended up getting pregnant, and after 3 months she lost the baby. And then more Kambo, and then now she's like 7 months or so pregnant. There's people with like diabetes, with like Lyme's disease. It really helps with the symptoms, but you need to bring in other medicines. And then if you go down to the jungle and work with the shamans I work with, and I'm sure there's others, of course, but they do different work with different plants, specifically Chilik Sanango. This is not Sananga, this is different. And it pulls the entity right out of the back of the head of Lyme's disease. It's pretty wild. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But there's a lot. People with cancer, we're healing stomach cancer. It's just like the craziest thing. And like I said, Kambo does not heal anything or cure anything. It comes in, it reboots the body, allows you to self-heal. You got all the tools inside of you. They're just locked up with all the energy and all the drama and the
you just got to unleash it and
my
release
victim
it.
labels. I have 3 people who are walking that haven't walked in over 3 years.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
The reason I asked about the MS, one of my fans, this young girl that I was put in touch with her through one of her friends, she was diagnosed with MS a few months ago, and she's depressed, let go of life, everything. So I've been talking to her a lot, she's found hope again. She's like going after healing herself, and she's doing meditation, diet, all that stuff. And also she's going to the doctor for that type of medicine. Yeah. But so I'm always trying to find.
I have some other plants that are really good for that as well.
Yeah, I'd love to get that info for her.
For sure. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah.
I guess the only question I have is, over the past year and a half, my family went through kind of a tragic event where we lost a loved one who was dealing with pancreatic cancer. So when we were going through this, obviously, as you know, Western medicine, all they had for us was chemo and, pills and poison and so forth. But we were introduced to Huxley and Gerson and some of these other treatments that have case studies that have been documented, and there's things to reference. I guess my question to you is, outside of anecdotal, talks that we're having right now, as far as, for example, you letting us know that through Kambo this has been healed, or what is the authority? And I think Yaya sort of touched on this. Who is the authority, or where could somebody go to get more information that is perhaps documented or is served through a case study or something that could be sort of referenced?
There's more of that coming up, but that's a big thing because people will say, okay, this happened in a combo session, and don't serve it now like this, because like after Bufo is one example, 5-MeO DMT, don't serve the combo for 2 weeks after is the study, but they say a month. And there is research behind that, actually.
Okay.
But you actually can, but it actually shifts into a different energy. And you have to go different, and it does magnify the heart rate and all these things. But I talked to one of the guys who told me that before all this research came out about it, and I was like, how many people did you serve it to, or how do you know? He's like, well, I had one guy come in, and it was I was like, so one person, there are no study groups on this. And it's also a really hard thing to do study group, because say you have 10 people with cancer and you give them all the exact same dose, okay, and keep doing the exact same thing and track their progress. First of all, it's going to track, and things are going to evolve, and people will have different healings and stuff. Sure. But these are all stemmed from different energetic issues. Cancer, diabetes, all these things are not a westernized way of you just got this.
Sure.
Okay, they are actually energy that is trapped in the body, stored from different stresses, different emotional things, and your body is a computer, and it stores all the memory. And so it locks up in this way and this way and this way, and it manifests in this way or that way. And so we come with ayahuasca, you're coming from a different angle. With Bufo, it's a different angle. With Kambo, it's from a different angle. Peyote, it's all different angles at the body and the spirit and all that. And so it's even if you had the same people with the same problem, it's a very, very difficult thing to do that. And so the only real research that would work is really under a microscope and putting it under certain things, with different bacteria or viruses or things like that. However, Kambo is not just the physical thing. And I know we've been mostly talking about physical stuff. It's hugely energetic.
Right.
It will change your emotional state. It will clear energy in front of you, manifesting luck. There's so many things that happen. It's a profoundly magical. I just went to a big ceremony with ayahuasca, and so many people there that I've been working with, they're like, oh my God, I had no idea that Kambo could be as powerful as ayahuasca. It's changed my life in this many ways. And I got a job, I got this, I have clear energy, I'm just stable, I'm grounded. It was I'm focused. So I'm sorry, I'm not really answering your question, but the answer is really, there's no authority on the research as of yet, and there's more and more coming out, and the pharmaceuticals have done a lot of research on it, but they obviously keep that information to themselves so they can make their patents and stuff. But the authority is really down in the jungle. With these elders and these tribes, and with the shamans who work with other medicines as well.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And I do want to say also, we're bringing in the Matses tribe this year, and also the Juar tribe a little bit later on, and we'll be doing a big tour through the United States. We're going to get a big RV and just do back-to-back sessions all around. It's going to be the first time ever that they've probably even left their country. We're bringing in some amazing. You should see their passports; they're all new and they look all. No, I'm just kidding. No, that's not. We're working with the immigration lawyer right now, but on the website, we're just updating it. There's an online shop there, and all the stuff that we have is from, most of it's from different tribes, and it supports them. We've got we travel all over. We have a big team. The practitioners that are going to come on board as they train, they're gonna be tapped into our network. And like, I've got maybe 15 people that ask me to come throughout the United States. I'm going to New York and Vermont, but basically we'll just be like, okay, you're going to Vermont, you're going to the retreat in Peru, and this and that's happening. We're gonna have like trainers go and actually like go and help the people who have just studied. So if anybody's interested in us coming, we have a very qualified team. My wife Katrina, she's amazing. Scott Polhill and his girlfriend Alex, Andre, Marisol, and we have other practitioners coming on board that are actually hugely qualified. These are people who've been asking me to serve Kambo for years, and I'm like, it's got to be the right way. And so they've waited, and they have the vibration. They've done Kambo like 50, 100 times. Like I did Kambo 150 times before I realized I was going to serve it. People are just like, oh, I want a job. You know, it's not like that.
It's not like that.
So we have a thing on the website where you can actually give us your information, and it'll put it into a mailing list for Austin, Texas, or for Dallas, Texas. I don't know why I'm talking about Texas, but somewhere in the world, Finland or whatever. And when we have enough people, we'll come out there. And of course, if you run big circles and you want us to bring the Matses tribe, let's do it. Like the money, they're building a whole new village out near this place called Primavera. There's a new Matses colony out there, and we just locked in all the land. And they need a lot of money to build these houses, so all the money's going there. We're going to build hospitals and schools, and it's fantastic what's going on. Yeah.
So, I think we covered a lot today, yeah?
Yeah,
Definitely.
amazing.
You happy? I think we covered a good amount.
We need to do another one.
We will.
We will. After
Step by step.
There's so much more, yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Let's have a post session, and we're all gonna do it as a collective.
Are you in?
Well, if
You're
JB
in?
doesn't
I'm
do it,
in.
we'll just
I'm
hold
in.
his hand like the
You're
frog.
not in? You guys are
I'm
in?
definitely
You're in, right?
I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, we should do a session with you guys, give you guys Kambo. We can maybe film it.
That'd be nice.
And then let's do like a follow-up like a week later, and then see what you guys experienced this week.
Yeah,
or that
yeah,
week.
we'll love that. And if maybe after I know what the effects are and how, you know, if it's helping in some way, then I can maybe help raise some money for the tribe and, you know, stuff like that too.
You know how much money we need? We need all the money in the world.
Yeah.
We need millions of dollars. Like literally, we are buying back the Amazon and we're giving it to the tribes. Like people want to save the jungle and they save money. They send money down there to wherever they're sending it. Okay. Well, great. The first shaman I sat with, he said, if you want to save the jungle, you can't just send your money to somewhere. You got to get your hands dirty. You got to go down there and actually do it. You need a militia. You need to like protect it. And so I was thinking, okay, we're going to buy land and help out. And then as the idea evolved, it was like, actually, we're going to buy land for the tribes. Oh, we're going to actually empower them, put them back into power. We're going to give them a support. We're going to build the infrastructure that they need. We're going to help them build centers if they want it so that their wisdom can go out. And that's the end goal in like a couple years or a year as we move forward. We're going to be buying land for tribes. We're going to build a center in Bogota for tribes that haven't, you know, it's endless.
And I'm sure you'll cover a lot of that in the documentary, and we can spread the word that way. And please give us footage, because JB's going to have his work cut out for him. Just put some footage on top of what we're talking about so it becomes more tangible to people.
Yeah.
This is me just giving that closing out energy again. You can't give it to Bryce because he's going to take over.
I'm going to
again.
open it up again.
Yeah. You see it, just like I get
You're the one who got me this coffee. The last time I drank coffee was 3 weeks ago. But I was a little tired. But man, I am sweating. I'm freaking amped. It's like, it's crazy. I hope you guys don't, you're like, I don't want to do Kambo with that guy's energy.
No, man, you're wonderful. And I honestly got to see even another version of you outside of the session, and it's still beautiful and still bright. So on my behalf, thank you so much for coming to the show. You honored us, and we'll see you again very soon, right?
Yeah. Thanks for being here. All the information, really eye-opening.
Really awesome. This is amazing for the world.
Yeah. Please close out the show and whatever you want to say. If there's anything else, just
so
get him away from the mic.
If I was to close the show, thanks for letting me do that. It's your show.
No, please do.
I would just say that to have respect for these medicines, to have respect for the tribes that carry them, and to have respect for yourself, because if you're not honoring where this is coming from, how much money do you have in your life, and go down to the jungle and you'll see what's going on, you know. And respect for your people that you're serving this medicine to. It's much more than just a practical thing, and just really want to give my gratitude to this beautiful Kambo medicine, as well as the tribes that carry it and that have shared this wisdom and that have brought it out of the jungle, who are actually doing this intentionally to heal us. They're bringing ayahuasca, they're bringing Kambo, they're bringing all sorts of medicines from the Amazon, and they're doing it so they can heal us, so we wake the fuck up, and then we save the planet. We have the power, we have the money, but right now we're using it to cut down the Amazon. That's what's actually happening. There's a movement going that they are waking us up so we can help them. Yeah. Saving them and saving the Amazon, saving the planet.
That was beautiful.
Beautiful.
That's all, folks. That's all.
All right.
So, Kambo.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe as usual, and see you next time.
Thank you.
Oh.
Nomad out.
Let's go.